Buddy Jacob here to give you my thoughts on Sleepwalker. Now, Sleepwalker is a horror film released on Apple TV, and of course, there's Hayden Panettiere. And I actually watched this movie probably almost a week ago now. But I was kind of wrapped up in trying to finally finish that 2025 movie ranking. But I still wanted to make sure to do a video on this because I'm a big fan of Hayden Panettiere. She's someone who I enjoy as an actress, but I'm also always kind of rooting for on a personal level too. Looking forward to her memoir this year, and this was going to be an interesting one for me because I'm usually not that big on this kind of subgenre of horror like hauntings, or I know it's not possession necessarily here, but possession and things like that. It's just not my favorite subgenre of horror. It's just not something I usually am all that excited for. Everyone has their favorites. Everyone has their things. They're just not quite as immediately, captivated by. But for her, I was curious because I quite liked her movie a couple of years ago called Amber Alert. So I'm kind of trusting her choice here. Again, I've liked her in everything from Nashville to I Love You, Beth Cooper. I even got to meet Hayden a few years ago. Really kind person. And this follows Hayden as a single mother, and okay, just debating on what to say without like spoiling it too much. You find this out in the setup really. Is that Hayden's character is married to a very abusive man played by Justin Chatwin, who I've always liked as well and feel kind of gets a bad rap. Seems like people only go off of like Dragon Ball Evolution and such. I thought he was really good in Shameless, for instance, and American Gothic. But yeah, they were on the on the outs, to say the least of it. But he ends up trying to take their young daughter with him when he tries to leave one night, and they end up in a car wreck. He is in a coma, and the daughter was killed. So yeah, it's a very serious kind of movie. There's not a whole lot of winky in this or anything like that. And it becomes that sort of idea of, okay, are we actually going to have something supernatural that she's dealing with in this movie? Or is it going to be kind of one of those, pretty common, directions in, the side of horror these days where it's, okay, it's her trauma and kind of her, personal turmoil manifesting this, which, again, I'm basically saying is overdone these days, but can still be effective enough when it's handled right. And I'm not going to answer that for you, of course. But overall, I like the movie. I don't know how often it's one I'd ever go back to. Hayden overall gives a very good performance in this. It's definitely hinged on her. And she doesn't try to be, pretty in it. She seems like a woman in turmoil, very, kind of messy with her emotions sometimes. She's trying to maintain her occupation as an artist. Trying to find herself again as well, to be a better mother to her son. Beverly D'Angelo plays her mother, who's always kind of believed in the witchy occult stuff. So you kind of have that division there and some estrangement issues. Kind of with that divide as she was growing up. But basically, she starts having these sleepwalking issues. That get very kind of dangerous as they can in extreme cases. Her son starts to have these problems as well. So it's kind of all becoming a little too coinky-dink, maybe. There's some sillier. There's some moments where, okay, are they actually trying to be a little overboard here with what's starting to happen, or is this kind of unintentional? I'm not fully sure. And some of that comes with the mother character. Some of that comes with her friend that she brings in, played by Laura Tan Chen, and I just don't know if acting-wise they were that effective with that. The scenes themselves actually ramped up a fair bit, and there's a fair bit of suspense in general in this movie, and things can kind of put you on edge. But in kind of like the seance scenes, and when they try to go for this exorcism of sorts, something is a little janky, I'll admit it. But thankfully, we have Hayden in pretty much every scene in this movie, and she does a very good job. I don't think it's her best performance, I guess, but I think she does well as one would think in this kind of movie. And yeah, overall, rating on Letterboxd will probably be between like a 3 and a 3.5 or something like that. Worth watching if you're a big fan of Hayden Panettiere. If you're not, but maybe you're just a sucker for this genre of movies, opposite to how I am, maybe. But otherwise, I'm not sure. Let me know what you guys thought about this one. Follow me on TikTok, of course, Twitter, Instagram. Not bad, good. Really good performance from Hayden in spots.